Let's see. Can you guys hear me yet? Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Great sound. Okay, perfect. Good. Hey, Candy Apple. How you doing? Thanks for joining me. So I just opened up this early so I can kind of get it situated. How's your evening going, Candy Apple? Move this back. There we go. Gonna do some great stuff tonight. I have a couple of things, unless we get sidetracked. And I did a channeling session for tonight, just to see if you guys want to listen to it or not. So it's up to you. So we have 5 minutes before we get started. Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about a couple different things. And one is going to be, I took 3 months off work last year in 2019. And I was between jobs and I chose to take it off. So I was, since I was channeling, I wanted to really focus on that for 3 months. And so all I did was channel for 3 months and took classes and was into the community with a lot of the intuitives around here. And so I wrote a book called Inside the Lemurian Crystal, Channeling Sessions. So I kind of wanted to go over some inklings of what this book is about. It's pretty remarkable. It's pretty eye-opening, and you just read it and it just makes you think. I just wanted them to give me enough information to make people think, maybe to think outside the box a little bit. So let's see, we have a few more minutes before we get started. And Candy Apple, are you from Daniela's channel? Or have you been on my channel before? Okay, a few more minutes. Every time I get started, my dog over here, she starts moving around and starts. She's so funny. She's so funny. Now, are you into Bigfoot? Cammy, come out here. Come here. Cool. Okay, so I'm just going to start and then have people show up. Since it's my first one, I wasn't quite sure that this was just probably going to progress and grow slowly. So I kind of wanted to talk about a few different things, and we're going to touch on my book, Dog and Cat Sitting on Me. Okay, and I kind of want to talk about spiritual awakening tonight, and I really was going to go more on the book, but then I got sidetracked when I did a channeling session. So I kind of wanted to talk about the illusion of self. And a lot of people are asking me about the awakening. What is the awakening? And how do you become awakened? I mean, what does this mean to just us, normal people? And so I kind of want to go through this little script that was written, and I want to kind of talk to you about how you wake up. And a lot of times we wake up more than once. Sometimes we go through certain trials, certain things in our lives that wake us up. And if we keep repeating that, then we're finally going to get it, and then we're going to be fully awake. So let me go through this. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. The illusion of self. Why are we here? Most realize the true self, the soul. Many of us believe we are these limited bodies. We live by rules, fear, whether conscious or unconscious. You are more than doing, you are being. It is possible to be set free. Let go of the life that no longer serves you. And I think that's one key player, is let go of the life that no longer serves you. And how many of you remember Dr. Phil when he first started, and he would always say, so how is that working for you? And you kind of go, that's really kind of a true statement. How is that working for me? Maybe we should make different choices. Live the person that wants to come forth from the inner world. The mind can be a trap for consciousness. A person, a consciousness, a person. It is not that you are in prison. You are the prison. The prison is an illusion. You are asleep. So I kind of think that tells you right there that when you are not awakened, that you are in your own prison. And your prison can be what society can say it can be. A prison can be how you're raised. A prison can be your own thoughts about yourself. Because a lot of times we have self-talk, and this self-talk can be positive or it can be negative. And I don't know about you, but a lot of times you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the memory will come back from 20 years ago, and it was not a very good memory. And you're going, why is this bothering me today? And it just makes you like, oh, what is going on? You feel like such a loser sometimes because these memories keep forcing their way back in, back in, back in. And that's when we need to become awakened, because we start letting go of all these memories, all these things that keep us in our prison. Once you are aware of the prison, awake from a dream. And then you are awake from a dream of the separate self, awake from the identification of the prison of you. How can you ever be free? Because wherever you go, you're always in that prison. Awakening. When you identify with this matrix, then you can live life more free, experience happiness more fully. Many of us live in the duality, riding the fear. There is so much in this world that we're raised that we conform to, and if you go outside the box, it's a scary place. And so we have to learn that going outside the box is not a scary place. It's a place to investigate and to see if you're comfortable there. And if you're not, then you can go back inside your box. But by staying in your box, you're contained. And sometimes we need to break free and explore our own humanity. Let's see. So a lot of times it's telling us to go beyond the duality of pain and pleasure, less self-creating resistance. Resistance creates suffering. There is something other than the material world and self-interest. And I think that's one thing, as I've been working through channeling and a lot of channeling through with the Sasquatch and the forest beings is simplify your life. And because we are a people that want to attain. We want this, we want that, we want to spend our money on this, that. And I do feel that through my channeling sessions with the forest people that I have been given the feeling, the information of simplicity, and that we may go back to a day of simplicity. So maybe, and that's why I was getting that in a lot of my channeling sessions. Ego. We got to get rid of our ego. We really do. Ego is a problem for most human beings, and ego does not work for you. And so if you can lower that ego, get rid of that ego, and become your authentic self, you'll know a happiness that you probably have never known before. So it's telling you too, your soul is timeless. Our souls are timeless. We've been on this earth for how long in our bodies? It depends how old you are. And I don't know if you believe in past lives. That was a new thing for me to learn. And so, but our souls have been traveling with each step. And we go into a body, go into a body, go into a body, lesson learn, lesson learn, lesson learn. So our souls are timeless. This is your beginning path. You will probably become conscious over and over. So I believe your awakening can be a process, and it will be a process. And a lot of times we humans, we start going forward and then we slip back into comfortable ways. And I think how I can liken that is I went to the doctor the other day and I have hypertension. And I know what to do. I know how to make that go better, be better. But it takes work, and it takes doing something I maybe don't want to do, is eating very healthy. And so now I'm in essential hypertension, which is not that I'm really overweight or anything, but it's hereditary. So if I don't start paying attention to my doctor, then there could be ramifications for that. So I think that's just as a human being, we want to attain and go forward and be healthy and happy, but then we go back into comfort zones, and because it is comfortable. And but sometimes if we can forge ahead and break out of that comfort zone, we develop new comfort zones. So that is kind of the process that I felt of how you wake up and you get out of your prison. And it'll take time for you guys to kind of understand the velocity of those words and trying to trying to attain growth. I guess that's what I'm saying, is trying to attain growth. So do you have any questions? Hi, Jacqueline. How are you doing? I sent you an email, Jacqueline. And so if you have any problems with that email, let me know. So I wanted to go in. Jacqueline, I was talking about the book, and I did send you a book today. And this is the book that I wrote of my channeling sessions. And these channeling sessions were from what I call the ancients. They are, this book to me is channeling of historical facts that we really have discovered a little bit. Okay. And so I wanted to go through a few things because this, I'm very into the Lemurian crystals, as you can tell. And I have little ones that I just set around my house just for energy. I did go to a girl here, and she's a shaman. And we did a little regression. And then she said, go home because just see how you feel and tell me what happens, because of this regression. So I came home and I just was so highly in tune to these crystals. It was amazing. And if you ever talk to people that claim to be key holders of the crystals, they're pretty amazing people because they have a little bit of insight of these crystals. And that's what this book is about, is the seeds that are planted in these crystals. And it will go through how that happened, and that there's certain people that are key holders and watchers. Some of these crystals, doesn't matter how big they are or small they are, some of them have triangles in them. Very rarely will you find a crystal with a triangle in it. But my very first crystal that I ordered off of, where did I order my crystal from? Some site. It was from Brazil. And I got it. And I just learned about the triangles in them. And it came with a triangle carved in it. And so to me, that told me that I was a key holder of the Lemurian seeds. And the Lemurian seed crystals are really profound in Brazil. But also they're coming out of Tibet now, and they seem to be as high vibrational. But of course, the Lemurians moved around. There's all high vibrational beings on this earth. But it seems like it's very, very, very condensed in Brazil with their crystals. So in the beginning of this book, I talk about the Lemurian crystals that are seeded and downloaded from the gods. And when I say the gods, people kind of go, ooh. And I was listening because I listen to a lot of channels, Jewish channels, because I like to learn about the Torah. And they are talking, there's a gentleman that was talking about Elohim. And I was taught that Elohim's name is God's name. Hold on a second. I have a dog here that likes to, I'm going to go like this so my dog can sit on my lap. And Elohim in the Bible is God. Well, in the Torah, Elohim is a plural, and it's the word of Eloah, and it's called multiple gods. So I thought that was very interesting. So just take that food for thought. I'm not preaching. I'm not saying anything. I'm just sharing information. So let me tell you a little bit of a segment of one of my first channeling sessions with inside the Lemurian crystal. And this is an ancient talking to me through my channeling session. Our culture was of the first. We were full of light. There was no good, no evil. There was just consciousness. We spoke little through our voice. We spoke through to each other and to the higher realms of consciousness. We could travel to and from quite easily. Yes, it was on earth. We were here in the beginning, beautiful. We had the abundance of life all around us. And I'm going to kind of skip to some poignant. We were before man was placed on the earth. We were before. We helped create the earth and the sky and the moon and the stars. We were planted down onto this earth. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes I get caught up in my words. We were planted down onto this earth so we may do this creation for mankind. We were not meant to stay. We were meant to create. We were meant to create this earth of yours and some species that are here upon the earth but have been wiped clean. So then it goes into, I really want to read this one part and then I'll look at the chat. The world will not die. The world can never die because it is not meant to die. It is a foreground of creation. It was created in purity. It was pure at one time. All was pure and wonder. The crystals that you seek in your days, called the Lemurian seed crystals, are seeded. They are seeded for those whom are seekers. You will feel them. You will know them. You will know, big windstorm coming up. You will know that they are home in your hands. So I have a big tree above my house. So when we have wind like that, I kind of get a little bit nervous because we have I've had big branches falling down on my car before. So this book is going to talk to you about the ancients, and it actually does have a segment on Bigfoot, and it does have a segment, you guys, we have a huge storm brewing outside. So it has a segment of how to call in the Bigfoots, and I know that's going to be curious to some of you. But also when I was doing channeling, I spoke in a language that was not of my own. And so that is written here as best as I could decipher the language. So let me look at some of your questions, you guys. Dr. Phil. Seated. Okay, good question on the word seated. Let me kind of do this in a nutshell. When the Lemurian culture was here on Earth, before they left, transitioned out, you're going to read a little bit of the transitioning of the Egyptians coming in and the Lemurians going out. And the Egyptians inherited a lot of what the Lemurians did. Before the Lemurians left, there was crystals. And what they did is they seeded them with knowledge and information, almost like a download. So if you understand download, kind of like a computer download, where you open up the computer and you read all the information, it's kind of like that. That's what seeding is. When certain people hold those crystals, and I know Jackie, you're gonna, you have a large one that is coming your way. That one is a seeded crystal, a Lemurian seeded crystal out of Brazil, and hold it in your hands. And when you guys get crystals from anybody, you put them in a salt bath. And so you put water and salt. I keep looking outside because all of a sudden we just got this storm. And you let them sit there for about 10 minutes, or you can sit them in the sunshine and it clears them and cleans them. Because when I touch the crystals, then it has my vibration on it. So you want to clean that off, and you want the crystal to have your vibration on it. So, and then I wash them. I always wash them because I never know who's touching them prior to me getting them. But that's what seated means. It's kind of a download. And that's when intuitives, people, when you sit and meditate with these crystals in your hand, it gives you energy, and it will help you listen and get those downloads and quiet your mind. Yeah, I believe in the real God too. I was just giving you information on the Torah and the word Elohim. So I believe in one God also, and the higher source. So we're on the same page on that. I don't believe in any pagan. I don't know what a pagan little g God means. But yeah, I believe in one God. I was just talking about the word Elohim, and how I always believed Elohim was God, and the Torah believes it as a plural. That's all. Okay, full moon. Oh yeah, the full moon does clear them too. Yes, and I always channel now on the full moon. That is something new that I do, is I am channeling on the full moon, because I just enjoy it. I just like it. So any other questions? So let me go. Let's see. So as we were talking prior to this, we were talking about thinking outside the box. So I know on Daniela's channel, there's a lot of people that were really upset with some of the things that I was saying, and that's cool. I get it, because I was raised in a really staunch religion, but I'm starting to think outside the box. Doesn't mean I'm pagan. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that I am keeping open mind and clear. And I go to the Vineyard Church here, and actually, you know, sometimes it's just, I actually get I feel like I'm more spiritually fed now that I have a more open mind when I go to church, because I'm more receptive to the spirit that is at the church. Hold on a second. Oh, my dog. Sorry. Now that it's windy. Let's see. No, I don't charge mine every full moon. I feel once they're cleansed, I feel like I can charge them too. So I do put them in the sunshine sometimes just to clean them out. But no, not every full moon. Probably because the full moon, I'm in a city of trees, and so the full moon is goes through the trees, and I'm afraid I'll forget them outside. So do you, Jacqueline, put yours out in the full moon? And Candy, Apple, what does it mean they aren't ready? You mean people aren't ready to hear? You have to go through your awakening, and you have to feel the sensation of that awakening. Um, and it's not meant for everybody to understand, I guess. Um, but if you're seeking, oh yeah, Danielle's people, if you're seeking to be a better person, to open your mind for clarity, for love, for change, it will come to you. Yeah. We usually have lots of sun, but we kind of had Washington State weather here in Idaho. We've had a really good winter, which has been very mild, but it's been very gray and rainy, and like that storm that just came up. That's crazy. I usually like to channel during storms because there's more energy. I know that kind of sounds weird. But as you know, I started channeling when I was on a cold case, and I had actually, that's when I had my forest person come through, and I call her, it's a female, I call her White Canada because I feel like she um, was out of Canada. And her name, she spelled out her name, and it's Ntil, which you'll see on my channel, Natil. And I started my channel because I was starting to get these most beautiful messages from her. And I was at work on my lunch break. I had a quiet spot I could go to, and I started listening, quieting in my mind, and I started just writing. And what I was writing was so amazingly beautiful that I had to publish it. I had to get it out there for people to see. And so that is why I started channeling and putting it on a YouTube channel, because I wanted other people to hear this and see if it is meaningful to them. And I just believe that we are here for each other. We are all one consciousness. We're different people, but somehow we're connected. We're the same. And we are here for each other. We're here to love each other, to lift each other up. And if I can give you a beautiful message from a Sasquatch, I'm going to do it, because I can't keep this all to myself. I hope that makes sense. It's wet in Tennessee. Does Tennessee ever get snow? Do you guys ever get snow? Well, I wanted to read one more thing on this, because since I think you guys are more receptive to what I'm saying, they were talking about, yes. And I'm very much into the Bible. I love Genesis. And what I was talking on Daniela's channel, let me find that, is, well, actually, I don't know if I was talking about it on her channel, if I was just actually talking to her about this. So let me read you this little portion. This book is kind of split into two, and Jackie, you will you'll kind of know that. And it's an easy read. It's not anything really hard. Um, but the Lemurian crystals not only foretell the coming future, but also the past. Genesis is a great variable to these channeling sessions. This book will be a more in-depth foretelling of Scripture along with unknown history. As in Genesis 4:12, talks about the first murder of man and how the blood cries out to God from the ground. Human sin has a bearing on the fertility of the earth. That, on the second portion of this book, as we go through, you guys have probably heard of the shift. And it was like this big, all the intuitives were talking about the shift. Well, the shifts are different. The shift that a lot of people were talking about was like end of world shift, which is not the case. But every time it seems like in some of these segments in this book, when blood hits the ground, because the earth, I've heard through channeling, is the heart of God. We live on the heart of God. As He created this for us for love, that He created this from His heart. And when blood hits the earth, a shift happens. And so, like with every war, with things like that, a shift happens from the beginning of man till now. So, in this book, there's a little bit about that. I keep looking outside because we're getting some really crazy weather going on. So, oh, here's the ancient language of calling in a Bigfoot. I think Jackie will like that. And the pages are not numbered because I structured this myself on Amazon, and it wouldn't allow me to do pages because the book was 72 pages in thickness, so they wouldn't let me number the pages. So it talks about, let me see. So it talked about how some of these beings, we communicate in the waters. And as you know, we have seen, if you believe in UFOs, have gone into the waters. We have many that are living down in the depths of the caverns. We have source down there of consciousness. We are coming. And it talks about the ancients are going to start flowing back into the world. If not by consciousness, foretelling to intuitives, to anybody, but they are coming back. And by them coming back, they're going to bring a greater influence. And that greatest influence is love, because these ancients have only lived in love. They don't live in the kind of realms that we live and we fight in every day to keep existing. So then it talks, I'm reading this to Jackie here a second. We can transmit up to you through the waters, through the land. We can hone in on special certain people. We can give them downloads. We also have those sources who live amongst the lands that you know nothing of. We're talking about the Sasquatch, that can also transmit to people because they are magnetic. Then it gives me an ancient language, and I'm not going to say it, but it's written in here on how you can call in the Sasquatch. I transcribe the words as best as I can because it sounds very Indian, actually, Native American. These words are the words of the forest people. That's how we call them in. We get information from them. They can travel to and from dimensions. They will start to be leaving shortly before the event, which that was, I think it's going to be towards the end of the year, and they're going to leave for a while and then they'll come back in. And let's see. And then I think the best part, I feel, of this book is when they talk about the lands of the pharaohs and kind of experiments that they're playing around with. Let's see. So do you have any questions for me? I kind of just wanted to cover those things. because some people wanted to talk about the awakening. And so the awakening is getting out of your human prison of your mind. And once you start getting out of that prison and those day-to-day thoughts, perceptions that keep you entrapped of self, you're able to become authentic and learn of your true self. And you can just get out of that prison of self and become awakened. And each time you become awakened, you can become awakened many times. Each time you become awakened, you will grow stronger and you won't revert back into that either negativity, depression, low self-talk, things like that. And you'll make better choices too because you will have a clearer mind. So do you have any questions? Oh, you guys are funny. Okay, so do you have any questions about Sasquatch? Have either one of you ever seen a Sasquatch? How often do I use my divination rods? Probably every day. And Jacqueline, with divination rods, I'm going to give you some information on how to use those and to get your energy force in them, and maybe take them out to do what you want to do. So we're having the big windstorms again. In the dark, Tim, you saw a Sasquatch? So I don't think, in my experience, because many of you heard of my experience as a child, I didn't have a smell. There was no smell that I recollect. But the one at my window here, there's a slight smell, but it didn't stay. And it wasn't overwhelming. It was just like, woo, what's that? And then it went away. So I have heard that Sasquatch have scent glands, and that's how they can repel animal attacks, maybe? What do you think? Do you hear the wind? I know, I hate it. My dog's just walking around. Here we go. This is Cammie. Oh, so you saw one. I know. We weren't supposed to have a windstorm. I do have big flashlights, though. So, question on the red glowing eyes. Mine were not red. They were kind of a golden white hue. I heard that the red glowing eyes are, and I got some of this also through a channeling session, that the red glowing eyes could be more of a not good Sasquatch. So I don't know. Or a dog man, which are called wendigos, I think. Oh, they can control their scent glands? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, anything red coming out of eyes would be a very big warning for me, and I've never seen red. Actually, you want to hear a really interesting story? I was doing a channeling session, and Bigfoot talked about a dog man, and I didn't believe dog man, but they said they were true. And so I started doing some research to see if we ever had anybody view a dog man or a Bigfoot in my area. And so I think it's BFRO, is it the Bigfoot organization, have their website. So in Boise, where I'm from, they did talk about in probably about 10 years ago, which is this guy saw what he called a dog man at dusk. by the river. We have like a green river here, and you can walk and ride bikes and stuff. And it's only a mile away from where I live. And he said he stood there staring at it, and it was staring at him. And it was kind of going under a bridge. And he said it had a snout, it was full of hair, and it was super tall. And he just stared at it until it started walking away, and then he took off. So I went, great, that's like not very far from me. Let's see. Threw an apple at your feet? Do they do that like to give you a gift, or do you think he wanted to say, hey, I see you? Which I hear it is kind of a behavior of chimpanzees and gorillas and things. Oh, do you guys hear the? Now we have fire engines going off. Yeah, I would back off. So Jacqueline, it sounds like you have a lot of information. Pink glow is love. Yep. They toss things often. So do you want to hear something through a challenge session that I had? I was told that I need to go to Utah, and that they have, do you guys hear the fire engines? I'm so sorry. It was beautiful with the sun out. Now it's just a storm, and the trees are probably falling all over. And so they said the Sasquatch in Utah are elders. And so to go there and to communicate. And so they told me exactly where to go. And it's in the mountains. But I'm trying to find someone, because I have some friends that live there, but I'm trying to find someone to go with me, or to at least meet me there. And I know there's Utah Bigfoot, but I don't think he does, what's his name? I don't think he does too much anymore. We may have to shut this down, guys, because I may have to move my car because we got some torrential winds going on. So guys, I'm gonna leave. Peace out. Sorry, it's just too stormy outside. I mean, it's way stormy. So you guys have a good day. Love you all. Be of good cheer. We'll do this again, hopefully maybe next Sunday. And let's talk about Bigfoot experiences. So, and I love Exetti Ranch. Have you been to it, Tim? Yeah, I would love to go there, because I don't think it's too far. It would be too far to go. So peace out, everybody. Have a good day. Love you all. Bye.